أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم الحمد لله أستعينه ونستغفره ونعوذ بالله من شرور أنفسنا من يهده الله فلا مضل له ومن يضلل فلا هادي له وأشهد أن لا إله إلا الله وحده لا شريك له عز وجل وأشهد أن محمدا عبده ورسوله صلى الله عليه وسلم أرسله بالحق بشيرا ونذيرا بين يدي الساعة من يطع الله ورسوله فقد رشد ومن يعصهما فإن لا يضر إلا نفسه ولا يضر الله شيئا أما بعد فقال الله تعالى في القرآن الكريم في سورة طه بسم الله وكذلك أنزلناه قرآنا عربيا وصرفنا فيه من الوعيد لعلهم يتقون أو يحيط له ذكرا فتعالى الله الملك الحق ولا يجعل بالقرآن من قبل أن يقضى إليه وحي وقل ربي زدني علما ولقد عهدنا إلى آدم من قبل فنسي ولم نجد له عزما وصدق الله العظيم بارك الله لي ولكم في القرآن الكريم ونفعني وإياكم بالذكر الحكيم إنه هو جواد الرؤوف الرحيم. الآن حي الترجمة. I seek refuge in Allah from Satan, from Shaitan, the accursed devil. In the name of Allah, the merciful, the compassionate, all praise is due to Allah. I seek His help and beg His forgiveness, and we seek refuge in Allah from the mischief and the evils of our souls. Whomsoever Allah guides, there is none who can lead that person astray. Whomsoever Allah finds in error, there is none to guide them. I bear witness there is no God, no deity worthy of worship except Almighty Allah. Glory be to Him, who is one alone and unique, without partner or associate. And I bear witness further that Prophet Muhammad ibn Abdullah sallallahu alayhi wa sallam, may the peace and blessings of Allah be upon him, is Allah's servant, messenger, and apostle. And He, Allah, has sent His messenger in truth and with the truth as a bearer of glad tidings, and also as a warner in advance of the hour of judgment. Therefore, whomsoever obeys Allah and His messenger, surely that person is rightly guided, and whomsoever disobeys the two of them, surely that person harms only his or her own soul. And they harm not Allah the slightest little bit. As for what follows. For Allah has said in the Quran, in the 20th surah in the Quran, Surah Taha, thus have we sent down the Quran in Arabic and clearly proclaimed in it some of the warnings, so that they may take heed, or that it may serve as a reminder to them. High and exalted be Allah, the true sovereign. Do not hasten to recite the Quran before its revelation is completely conveyed to you, and say, O my Lord, Rabbi Zikni Ilman, O my Lord, increase my knowledge. We had taken a covenant from Adam before, but he forgot. We did not find in him firm determination. And surely Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has spoken the truth. O you who worship Allah, it is the nature of the life of this world that the knowledge of man, the knowledge that man possesses, the knowledge that man strives for, the knowledge that man acquires, must be upgraded as man grows and advances. It is the nature of the life of this world. It does not matter what someone knows. It does not matter what technology they devise. Knowledge of man must be upgraded as man grows and advances. Take, for instance, in the field or the area of communication. Thousands of years ago, as man began to communicate through the spoken word, eventually there was a need for him to communicate across distance, to communicate across distances that the human voice could not carry because it was too far. And so the tool that man used to communicate across distance in many societies became the drum. And then eventually the knowledge of man expanded. The consciousness of man expanded. And he created the telegraph. And he began to communicate not with a drum, creating vibrations in air, but rather through wire that carried sound from one distant location to another. And then eventually, man created the telephone. And the telephone surpassed the telegraph. Telegraph conveyed electrical impulses. Telephone was used to actually carry the sound of the human voice, again, through wire or cable. Then the telephone gave way to the wireless phone, so that the voice of man could once again be carried through the air. But now not as drum beats, but as the actual human voice. And each step, each development in the field of communication has forwarded the knowledge of man, has upgraded the awareness of man. And man, when I say man, I don't mean male man, I mean man, the human being. Man has grown and advanced so that now we're in the area of text messages and, Facebook and Twitter and all of that sort of thing. But all of it does the same thing, which is serve as a tool for communication across distance. And when a child in this day and time reaches into his or her pocket and pulls out a cell phone and goes on Twitter, it would never occur to that child that there once was a time when people only communicated across distance by drumbeat. Or you will believe, I say again, the knowledge of man must be upgraded. Albert Einstein, great scientist, once said, problems cannot be solved by the same consciousness that created them. Let me repeat that. Problems, he said, cannot be solved by the same consciousness that created them. In other words, if you have a problem, if you just stay within the same realm of understanding, the same realm of thinking, the same realm of comprehension, then you're never going to solve the problem. You have to move to another state of consciousness, another state of knowledge, another state of awareness. And so as the human being advances in knowledge or upgrades his or her knowledge, developments in the human being occur, growth occurs, and life changes. Life adapts. The current world of telecommunications, wherein you can reach in your pocket and pull out a phone and talk to someone on the other side of the world, this is a different world than 50 years ago, 100 years ago, 400 or 500 years ago. There are changes that have occurred in lifestyle, and each advance in human understanding is furthered by an upgrade in equipment, from the drum to the cell phone, by an upgrade in technology. And why is this important? It's important because the knowledge of man, the knowledge of the human being, is divinely gifted. Human beings don't create, we recreate. Oh, we like to think we create things. We like, as I said to, I was teaching a class last Sunday, so one of the students came late. She sat down in the back and immediately pulled out her phone to begin recording what I was saying. I told her, put that phone away. Put away that inferior computer and use the superior computer that Allah has given you. Look at me. It was a moment. She put it away, but there was a little puzzle in it. And I asked the class, what is the superior computer that you have been given free? And everyone thought, and they said, the brain. There is no brain, no man-made computer as sophisticated as the computer that is your brain. And knowledge is a divine gift. The sciences of man and the advancement in human comprehension that occurs as the result of the pursuit of the sciences are nothing more than the result of the study of what Allah has created. That's all science is. Man does not create or did not create the earth. He studies the creation of the earth. Man did not create it himself. He studies him or herself. Man does not create the weather. Man studies the weather. Allah creates. Man recreates. Wa'alimi Sheikh Alama Tawfiq Rahmatullah alayhi, our founding Imam here, my teacher, he used to say that all the time. He used to say that man, in his egotism, views himself as being a creator, but really he's a recreator. Allah creates the bird. Man recreates a bird in the shape of an airplane, and there has not been an airplane invented that can match the bird in simple aerodynamics. Allah creates the eye, the human eye, the iris of the eye, Mu'allimi said. The man studies the eye and its structure and the way the iris opens and closes and creates a camera. Now everybody's walking around with a camera in his or her pocket. Allah creates the human heart. Man studies the heart and its capacity for moving or transporting blood from one part of the body to another, and uses the knowledge that results from that study to create the highways and the byways of human society through which vehicles move. Allah creates, man recreates. Allah is infinite in knowledge. Man is finite in knowledge. But man advances his knowledge by the utilizing the gifts that Allah has given each one of us. And it's not only human beings, not only man. All creatures are gifted with knowledge by Allah. Only difference is that man goes to school and sits down in the classroom, learns this and that. Everyone else learns in the field. Everyone else uses their God-given knowledge. Bees do not go to school to learn how to gather pollen and go from one flower to another and go back to the hive and all of that kind of thing. Mammals, I'm fascinated, increasingly so, by this television program, Blue Planet. Watch it all the time. I'm amazed and awed by what Allah has created in that world. The world under the sea is another world, another realm of existence with creatures and laws that govern it that are just as profound as the world of outer space. In fact, there once was a time, some of you are a little young to remember this, but there once was a time when man trained for outer space travel by going underneath the ocean. Why do I mention this? Number one, I wanted to just talk in a little higher dimension because that will stretch our minds and increase our knowledge. We should not just be preoccupied with the things of the life of this world on a mundane level. I was thinking the other day, isn't it amazing how much space Donald Trump takes up in people's minds? You turn on the news, first thing they do is go to Donald Trump. I'm like, where's the rest of the world? He takes up a lot of space. That's why you have to ration yourself. You have to ration your consciousness and keep your mind open to that which Allah has created, because in doing so, that will expand your consciousness. And we must expand our consciousness beyond streets and concrete and how much is my check this week and all of that kind of thing. Those things are important, but that's not all there is to life, nor to the universe. And so Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says in the Quran, there are signs in the heavens and on earth and in your souls for those who reflect, for those who comprehend. And so I have talked to you about the fact that in the knowledge of man, in the world of man, knowledge must be continually upgraded. If you don't upgrade your knowledge and you don't upgrade your technology, then you're going to be left behind. Imagine someone walking around in this day and time with one of those cellular phones. Remember them big phones? They're walking around with that big cellular Imagine somebody walking around with that now. Imagine with someone walking around with one of those flip phones from the 90s as opposed to the sophisticated computer that is the cell phone of every human being. Imagine someone trying to use in this day and time one of those IBM computers from 20 years ago. It would be like, or someone say, well, where's your car? I say, I got it outside. Okay, then you go outside and somebody's got a Model T car outside as opposed to whatever's the latest whatever. Your knowledge must be upgraded. Or someone is regurgitating, scientific concepts that have been surpassed. I mean, at one time, at least in European society, I don't know about anybody else, at one time in European society, the level of the knowledge was that they thought that the sun was the center of the universe. That one little sun that we look at every day. And it wasn't until the knowledge advanced that people began to understand, no, man, there are billions of suns out there. And that our sun is but one out of billions. When man grew to the point where he could comprehend that then his consciousness expanded. His travel, or his desire to travel, became not only let's get in a boat or get in a plane and fly to another part of the earth. He began to think, let's fly beyond the earth, because there is something out there. In religion, knowledge must be upgraded in order for it to be beneficial. The Messenger of Allah, sallallahu alayhi wa sallam, one of his du'as, he would pray, he would ask Allah to grant him ilmu mufid, beneficial knowledge. He prayed for knowledge that would benefit in the dunya, in the life of this world. Knowledge that would benefit in the akhirah, in the hereafter. He understood that there was different kinds of knowledge. He understood that in the life of this world that we need knowledge that will benefit our souls. And that there was a relationship between the knowledge of the earthly life and the knowledge of the hereafter. Because see, even worldly knowledge can deceive you, man, if you don't have knowledge of the hereafter. I remember about 50 years ago, cover of Time magazine, top magazine in the world. Cover read, "Is God dead?" Is God dead? That's an example of worldly knowledge deceiving somebody. Right? In religion, knowledge must be upgraded. Your and mine religious knowledge must constantly be fed, must constantly be expanded. If you walk around in 1439 Hijriya, 2018 Miladi, and your Islamic knowledge, your knowledge of religion, your memorization of the Quran, your comprehension of the Quran, your memorization of Ahadith, your comprehension of the understanding of Ahadith, if it's the same now as it was 5 or 10 or 20 or 30 years ago, because you have not committed yourself to an expansion of knowledge, to an upgrading of your Deen. How does one upgrade Deen? Upgrade Deen. You upgrade your Deen by upgrading your knowledge of the Deen, because you cannot practice what you don't know. How many verses of the Quran have you memorized? Or can you read, not just in translation, but in the language in which it was revealed? Because if you cannot read the Quran in the language in which it was revealed, then you don't even know what Allah is saying. All you know is what somebody told you Allah is saying. That's what a translation is. Translation is somebody telling you what Allah has said. But how much of Allah's book have you memorized? And how does that match up, say, to what you knew 10 years ago? How much of Islam, the Deen of Islam, the religious lifestyle of Islam, are you practicing? Because you see, knowledge is one thing, praxis is another. And you cannot move from knowledge to wisdom and wisdom to understanding without practice. You can walk into a classroom, say for carpentry, and the teacher, you say, I'm here to learn some carpentry. You say, okay, here's a hammer, here's a nail, here's the manual. Now watch me. All right, now do it yourself. You won't really learn how to hammer till after you've banged your fingers up a few times and you know, hit it right and it goes straight, and all of a sudden tilts at an angle, and you got that. It's the praxis, not just the theory. Anybody could stand on the side of a swimming pool and theorize how to swim. But once you get in that water, there's a whole nother reality there. A whole nother realm of knowledge gained through experience, and it's the same way with this Deen that's called Al-Islam. So when we hear the word Deen, Arabic word Deen, from Dana Yadinu, when we hear that word, you should not just translate that word religion. Because Deen is the way you live based upon what you believe. It's not just, your Deen is not just what you believe, it's the way that you live based on what you believe. Every body of knowledge has a practice that goes with it. So in the realm of religion, if people say they're Christian, they have a text, you know, a technology. They have a text, they have beliefs, and they have ways that they are supposed to live and conduct themselves according to that text. Same thing for Judaism, same thing for Buddhism, same thing for Hinduism, same thing for Islam. Same thing for polytheism. Polytheists have a certain way of looking at the universe and a certain way of comprehending the universe. And they live a certain way. But Islam, a revealed way of life, is meant to elevate our consciousness beyond, you know, the mundane. Unbelievers only believe in the seen. The believer believes in the seen and the unseen. Someone asked me, well, how can you be sure? I said, because Allah has said so. The one who created us, the one who created everything, the one who gave us the ability to comprehend, it is He who has revealed to us the unseen. O you who worship Allah, be not like the person walking around out of time with your knowledge or your comprehension or your understanding. Some people, as soon as the latest upgrade occurs on the modern technology, they're right there. It amazes me. I turn on the news, here's people standing 12 hours online waiting for the new iPhone. It's midnight, the phone goes on sale 12 noon the next day, and they're online already. You know what I mean? I got to get this upgrade. In fact, you know, as I said, if you don't upgrade what you have, you become lost. You can't take a modern piece of equipment and plug it into that old equipment. It doesn't work. It won't work. Why? Because things have advanced. Our religious knowledge must advance. And when I say our religious knowledge most advanced. I'm not talking about a new Quran or, some kind of new revelation or some new sunnah. No, I'm talking about our understanding of it. So may Allah Tabaraka wa Ta'ala expand our consciousness. And may He expand our practice. Are you still practicing Islam the same way you were 10 years ago? Are you? It's an important question. Many of us are. Because our religious practice is not based on knowledge, it's based on ritual. Or based on cultural norm. As a brother once said to me, I think he was Bangladeshi or something like that. He said to me, he asked me, can I tell you something? I said, sure. He said, I don't want to offend you. I said, no, man, it's all right, go ahead. He said, a problem a lot of African Americans make. I'm listening. He said, a lot of you look at people like me and you make assumptions about what we know about Islam. And you assume that because we were born here or born there, or grew up here or grew up there, that we necessarily understand or know more Islam than you do. And he said, it's simply not true. He said, and then you make that assumption, and then you make expectations based on your assumption. He said, so then when somebody like me come along, and he used himself as an example. He said, yeah, I was born in Bangladesh, but he said, my parents moved when I was young. Where we moved to, I ended up going to a Christian school. Then I went to a British college. I said, man, I don't know as much Islam as you do. But I am a Muslim, he said to me. That's stuck in my mind. That's stuck in my mind. Where is your knowledge and your practice? May Allah Tabaraka wa Ta'ala increase our understanding and increase our practice. أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم أشهد أن لا إله إلا الله وحده لا شريك له وأشهد أن محمدا عبده ورسوله صلى الله عليه وسلم اللهم بارك وسلم على سيدنا ومولانا محمد عليه السلام والسلام وعلى آله وصحبه وصحبه أجمعين برحمتك يا أرحم الراحمين وبعد فقال الله تعالى في القرآن الكريم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم ألم نشرح لك صدرك ووضعنا عنك وزرك الذي أنقض ظهرك ورفعنا لك ذكرك فإن مع العسر يسرا إن مع العسر يسرا فإذا فرغت فانصب وإلى ربك فارغب وصدق الله العظيم. اللهم اغفر لنا مسلمين ومسلمات ومسلمين ومسلمات ومؤمنين ومؤمنات وبعد. For dear brothers and sisters, let me wrap up. In order for me to wrap up, I need to just go back to what I read before. Let me read this first ayah, two ayahs again. Thus, if we sit down the Quran in Arabic and clearly proclaimed it in it, some of the warnings so that they may take heed or that it may serve as a reminder to them. I remind you again, dear believers, that the Quran is a book revealed in Al-Fusha, in the highest form, a specific form of Arabic that fires the imagination and stimulates the intellect. When it says Al-Arabiya, speaking of Al-Fusha, which is the Quranic Arabic, it's not speaking of, Yemeni Arabic, Egyptian Arabic, whatever. The Arabic that the brothers be talking on the corner store when you go in there, and you're an American and you hear somebody speaking any kind of Arabic and you get all romantic. Subhanallah. Brothers speaking the language of the Kitab, man. And if you understood what they were saying, they're saying, yo, man, what up, man? Hey, man, ain't nothing to it, man. They're just speaking in Arabic. They're not speaking the language of the Quran. The Quran is a lofty book. That's why early translators of the Quran into Arabic tried to use lofty English. People look at the old Yusuf Ali translation of the Quran or something, they say, man, why is he talking about this there and oh Allah, thou art, you know? Because he was trying to use the highest form of the English language because he understood the lofty nature of al-Fusha. And Allah Tabaraka wa Ta'ala said, high and exalted be Allah, Fata'ala Allah, al-Malikul Haq. Allah al-Malik, the sovereign. Allah is the truth, and al-Haq, the truth and the reality. And Allah says to his messenger, alayhi salam, do not hasten to recite the Quran before its revelation is completely conveyed to you, and say, Rabbi zikni ilma. This is excellent advice for us. Too many of us, we do the opposite of what Allah says. Allah said, do not hasten to recite the Quran. Not only do we hasten to recite it, because there's different interpretations of that. One of them is, don't be so quick to open your mouth about what Allah has said. First of all, when you're not even reading what Allah has said, you're reading a translation. You know, you have brothers, they want to give lectures, you know, street corner, you know, rhapsody and fatawa. Here, see, you know, Allah says so and so. And they look down their nose at people and all. They don't even know what Allah has said. Right? All they know is what somebody told them Allah has said. Don't be hasty. The Mufassirun, the scholarly commentators of the Quran, say that Allah revealed this to Prophet Muhammad alayhi salam wa salat, telling him, it's all right. I know I'm dropping some heavy stuff on you, but take your time. Let it seek into your consciousness and into your soul and into your practice, Ya Muhammad. I have this written on your heart. You got it and you're gonna have it. So just easy. When the Quran, you read the ahadith, when the Quran would be revealed to the Prophet alayhi salam, when he could hear Jibreel reciting to him, he stopped everything. He would stop everything, just listening. How many times a day do you exercise your mindfulness of the Quran? To stop everything and just think about, reflect upon what Allah has said. Good practice. And lastly, Allah has said, I just read Surah 94, in the name of Allah, the compassionate, the merciful, O Prophet, have we not expanded your breasts for you and relieved you from the burden which weighed down your back and exalted your fame? Surely with every difficulty there is relief. Surely with every difficulty there is relief. Therefore, when you are free from your daily task, devote your time to the labor of worship and turn all your attention towards your Lord, or you will believe. Let us take lesson and instruction from the words of Allah to his messenger. When Allah asks, have we not expanded your breast for you? That means with knowledge. Revealed knowledge. And relieved you from the burden which weighs down your back. I think maybe I'll go next week, use this as the text. So we can go into it. I don't want to rush it. It's very profound. But remember, strive to expand your knowledge. Allah said, make dua, Rabbi zikni ilma. I mean, you should pray for an expansion of knowledge. But then you got to read, you got to study, you have to reflect. One of my great fears, and I'm afraid of it because I see it playing out. I see how many people come here for worship on Fridays, and I'm grateful, me personally, alhamdulillah. Then it makes my heart sink when I don't see you in class. I'm getting ready to cancel a class now. Why? I'm going to let you know when you hear the assistant imam make the announcement. I'm getting ready to cancel one of my classes. Why? Lack of participation. You don't come out? I'm canceling one of the classes. But I know that you are concerned about expanding your knowledge, but the same way you can't go into a dojo and sit on the side watching class and become skilled in martial arts. The same way that you can't go to the Y and sit on the edge of the pool watching other people swim, but you never get in that water yourself. The same way that you can go to a physics class or a trigonometry class or whatever and sit there, but you never do any work, you're not going to meditate yourself into a grade. You'll meditate yourself into a failure. And so it is with the knowledge of this religion. May Allah tabaraka wa ta'ala expand our understanding. Subhanaka Allahumma wa bihamdika ashhadu an la ilaha illallah astaghfiruka wa atubu ilayk. Ameen wa alka itama.
Allahu Akbar, Allahu Akbar, ashhadu an la ilaha illallah.